Hello, I'm Maria Barantini, Pastoral Associate of Children's Catechesis. I wanted to do something special for our children of our parish and read a very special book to the families of our parish. This is a tradition that comes out of Italy, and I came across this book, probably 10 years ago, and it was such an interesting book to learn about a different country's tradition for Gaudete Sunday, which is Rejoice Sunday. So this is a special tradition in Italy. And I'm going to read the storybook that it comes from. This is Bambinelli Sunday, A Christmas Blessing, written by Amy Wellborn, illustrated by Anne Kazin Engelhart. In the beautiful country of Italy, in the ancient, bustling city of Napoli, you can take a walk down a wonderful street called Via San Gregorio Armano. It's a street lined with shops and workshops where people are molding, painting, sewing figures for nativity scenes. You'll see their creations in the windows of their shops. You'll see angels and carpenters, farmers, bakers, shepherds and kings, cows and horses, little trees, huts and houses, miniature pots and pans, and babies. So many tiny babies, loving arms outstretched to you as you peer in the windows, trying to pick just the right one for the nativity scene that you have at home. On the street, it is Christmas all the time. Trying to make sure you can see the pictures. In one of those shops, a boy named Alessandro is watching his grandfather work. It is such a warm and happy place, but Alessandro isn't smiling today. "Why so quiet, Alessandro?" grandfather asked. "On your visit last summer, you were full of questions." Alessandro shrugs. His heart is still full of questions, but today they're not about clay shepherds. He is even a little afraid to ask them. Grandfather peers at him over his glasses. "I think I see a boy who would like to help his old papa." He teases. "It's almost December, and there's certainly a lot to do." There is a lot to do around the shop. It's true, so Alessandro begins to sweep up bits of clay, fabric scraps, and dried moss from the floor. He hears customers in the shop. They are shopping for figures from the Bible and so much more. The people in Italy like to make their nativity scenes, called presepe. Busy and crowded with scenes from everyday life in both Bible times and today, sometimes all mixed together. It reminds them that Jesus is not just in the past, but lives with us today. Alessandro listens to Papa and Nonna, laughing with a man who is looking for little chicks and dogs that would chase each other around a farmyard in his presepe. And they would really move. How funny. Alessandro can't laugh, though, because he's still thinking about his questions. It's been a month since his parents had to go to another country for their work, leaving him here with his grandparents. When will they return? When will he be back at his own home, in his old school and with his friends? Alessandro can't hear the laughing or see the bright blue of the Blessed Virgin's robes or the gold of the baby's halo. All he can see right now are the broken pieces on the floor. A few days later, Alessandro runs on the cobblestone in the piazza in front of the store. He had felt shy about coming out to play with the other boys, but Nonna had almost pushed him outside on this sunny December afternoon. As he chased the ball and hears the other boys cheerfully call his name, Alessandro starts to feel happy. The ball bounces to him and he gives a good kick. Oh no, the ball doesn't go where he thought it would. Will Signora Angeli be angry? Alessandro rushes inside his grandparents' store and was afraid all over again. I'm so sorry, sniffs Alessandro's grandfather. I just wish. You wish you could make new ones, interrupts grandfather with a smile. Well, I think Signora Angeli has plenty to refill his basket, but, and he looks thoughtfully at Alessandro, perhaps you would like to try to make a figure for our little shop. But I don't know how, Alessandro protests. I can't make anything, especially anything so beautiful. Perhaps not yet, laughs grandfather, but you have to start somewhere. And Alessandro, it's love that makes what we create beautiful. That's what makes Nonna's food taste so good. Love brings all the pieces together. I think you have quite a bit of love in your heart, don't you? Alessandro nods, but he can't speak. Nonna does, though. Enrico, Bambinelli Sunday is next week. What if Alessandro makes his own bambino, and the two of you take it up to Rome for the Holy Father's blessing? Of course, grandfather claps his hands. Alessandro doesn't know what Bambinelli Sunday is, but he listens as grandfather explains and helps him begin to fashion his very own Christ child. First, Alessandro learns how to shape the clay. He practices by making a basket of fruit. Then it's time for him to try to make the baby. It takes a lot of practice and help. His doesn't look exactly like grandfather's, but he's still proud of it. And when he paints the smile on the baby's face, it is like the baby is smiling right at him. His grandfather tells him every year on the third Sunday of Advent, right before Christmas, children come into the great St. Peter's Square in Rome. They bring their bambini, their figures of the infant Jesus, from their home precipice. Large or small, handmade or shiny from the store, all of them are brought to Rome. They are all real gifts of love. The children bring them to the Holy Father, and he blesses them. He blesses the children, their families, and the figures of the Christ child, and you, Alessandro. He'll bless you. I'll take you there. You'll bring this beautiful figure of Jesus that you have made yourself. The morning of Bambinelli Sunday is so busy, Alessandro and grandfather must prepare for a 2-hour train journey to Rome. As Alessandro straightens the swaddling clothes on his bambino, he proudly imagines showing it to his parents and laying it in the manger in their precipice at home. Oh, another accident! Alessandro is disappointed and angry with himself again. Why does everything break? It's time, Alessandro, Nonna calls from the kitchen. What can you do? Grandfather's babies are nicer than mine anyway, he thinks, as he grabs one from the shelf and runs to the door. On the crowded train, grandfather goes to talk with an old friend and points to Alessandro proudly. Alessandro wishes that what he knows grandfather is saying were true, that he was bringing something of his very own from his heart for a blessing. In the seat next to Alessandro, a little girl starts to fuss. Nothing her big sister does can quiet her. The small girl sees Alessandro's bambino and reaches for it. Alessandra hesitates. The little girl reaches again, smiling a bit now. Baby, she giggles. Alessandro carefully puts the baby Jesus in the little girl's hand, and before he knows it, or even why, he is laughing too. The train pulls to a stop. Alessandro puts his hand on his bambino, but the little girl clutches it closely to her heart. Alessandro doesn't want to let go, but the baby Jesus has made the little girl happy. How would she feel if he took it from her? How would he? He lets go. Outside with grandfather, Alessandro sees the train pull off and hears the girls calling, "Grazie! Thank you so much!" Grandfather and Alessandro arrive at St. Peter's Square. Hundreds of children are running about, laughing and singing and showing each other their bambellini. But Alessandro can't really see the beautiful big Princess Pepe in this crowded square or hear the bands playing. All he can hear is the pounding of his heart, and all he can feel are his empty pockets. "I don't have anything," he whispers to grandfather. "I don't have anything to give. Nothing at all." "Are you sure, Alessandro?" grandfather asks. Alessandro blinks in the bright sunlight. He can't believe what he's seeing. For in his hand, grandfather holds Alessandro's very own bambino. Alessandro looks up questioningly into his grandfather's twinkling eyes. "Oh, Nonna saw the accident, and I had a minute, just enough time to get a little glue." Alessandro studies the bambino's smiling face and his broken arm. He looks around at the other bambellini. "Grazie, grandfather," he sighs. "But it's still broken. I wish it was perfect." "Alessandro, just look at him," said grandfather, kneeling down beside him and pressing the baby into his hand. "He is." Alessandro looks up and sees a white speck in the open window. It's the Holy Father. Along with thousands of other children, Alessandro holds his bambino up high, this baby who has surprised him so much. He has been surprised by forgiveness, by learning, sharing, giving, and comforting. The Pope blesses all of them. Close behind him, Alessandro hears voices calling out, "Alessandro!" But who's that? Who could be calling his name? Alessandro turns around to see the most wonderful surprise of all. I hope you enjoyed today's story, and I hope you can celebrate Rejoice Sunday in a special way with your family.